Welcome to Monster Monday. So we've got the fourth film in the Blind Dead series. I have now found out. I think I found out this like right when we were covering the first one, but there is one more. It is called Curse of the Blind Dead, and it was made within the last 10 years.
I think you told me about
I
this.
don't know anything about the movie. I looked at a little bit of it, and it does look like a really cheap movie made. And one of the things that sucks about cheap movies now is they don't have the charm that cheap movies had back in the day.
Yeah.
Because cheap movies back in the day were shot on film, and they were on location, and they didn't have CG. They used these really bad practical effects, and the acting was how it was.
Yeah.
And there's no charm to like bad low budget horror movies today, like the ones that are made for like 50 grand and are shot digitally and have these ridiculously silly premises and terrible actors. You watch them and they just feel stale.
They do.
They don't feel fun.
No.
They feel like a complete waste of your time.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So are we watching this fifth one?
I'm not sure yet.
Or should we just
we probably should, because we committed to it. But what I will do for sure is we'll definitely track it down. We'll start watching it, and if it is straight up unwatchable, and you see a movie next week that isn't The Curse of the Blind Dead, I'm sure I'll bring it up in that video.
But
we tried Curse of the Blind Dead, but I think it has a really low rating too, and I'm just like from the stills and everything. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
One thing I'm gonna say, if you've seen one of the Blind Dead films, you've seen them all.
I will add
You've
this.
seen them all.
I will add this. If you're gonna watch one, this is the one for me.
I don't know.
This is the best one of the four for me.
I was very checked out during this film. So
she was on her phone half the movie.
I was very checked out. I just was like,
you don't even need to listen to her.
I lost interest very quickly.
It's because they're very rinse, lather, repeat.
They are.
And you felt like you were watching the same film again.
Yes.
But I do believe, because I was paying better attention than her, this is of all of them, this is the best iteration of this story.
They literally use like the same shots in every film. So it's not even like you feel like you're watching the same, like you straight up are watching the same things over and over again.
I would just tell people, if they're going to watch one, because I don't think you need to watch all four.
No.
If you're going to watch one and you're like, oh, I just want to check the series out, and because they're so similar, you can just watch one, and basically all four of them are like remakes of each other. So it's like, if you're just going to watch one, this is the one. In my opinion, I think that this one has the coolest story. And I vibed with this one more than the rest.
Okay. That's fair.
So let's jump into it. Kaylee's probably not going to say much because she was literally on her phone for over half the film. Every time I looked over, I was like, is she even going to watch this one?
I'm sorry. I've not been a huge fan of this series, but I'll try and talk to you about what I remember.
Okay. So we, of course, follow the Templars.
Big surprise.
And once again, they are sacrificing a chick by ripping her tits out of her shirt and cutting her heart out of her body and drinking her blood.
They like chew on her like old people with no dentures in.
It's interesting to me that they don't just reuse the footage of the girl who's tied to the post in the first one and is like cut, and then her heart's ripped out and all that stuff. Like,
no, I know why they do it. They want to see new naked women.
Yeah, except for the nude woman they have in this one. I think, is that the one? It's that one, right?
She has
there's a few people who get naked in this movie, but it's the first one who has. So what we think happened here with this girl is, I think this is like a really early example of like archaic freaking breast implants.
Yeah,
because they are really weird looking.
Yeah, and it looks like a botched boob job.
But we do see another pair of boobs in this, and they're actually wonderful. So you do get you do get contrast in the titty department in this. The first ones though are they're like bricks, like rocks to the side of her body, and very weird looking and not appealing in the slightest. But anyways, the fact that we just reiterate the same opening, but they're supposed to be like different guys, but they're the same guys.
They're the same.
And it's the same director every time. And then of course when they rise from the grave, they literally use the same footage in 3. I don't think that they use it in part 3, Ghost Galleon. But I do think they use the footage in 1, 2. They might use it in 3 too. I can't remember, but they definitely use it in 1, 2, and 4 for sure. It is literally, and I'm not saying like they shot it similarly. It is literally the same footage of them coming out of their caskets.
Yes.
Or their, not caskets, but
of their tombs.
Tombs.
Yes.
Well, it's Tombs of the Blind Dead. There you go. So that is interesting, because why reuse that but not reuse the beginning sacrifice to kind of set the stage again? But it's because this is like, it's like a remake, basically, because it's not the same Blind Dead. It's not the same location. This is like a similar Blind Dead, but they're all Templars, and they all wear the same outfits.
Yeah, they do. It's exactly
so it's
the
like
same.
All the same cult.
They have the same like beards, and everything too.
In this one though, they just kill the girl and then that's it. And then it's like fast forward. Yeah. Right? Usually in these, they get killed. They like get attacked by the villagers or something happens to them. And then it's like they come back. Right? So in this one, every 7 years for 7 days, is very Jeepers Creepers. The Blind Dead rise from the grave to kill one woman a night for 7 nights. And the village has taken it upon themselves to sacrifice a person a night. And they're basically fighting, any of these women. Now, are these women aware, right, that they are going to be taken? Tilda, does she get taken? Because her freaking, this is, okay. So Tilda shows up, and Tilda's dad comes. She's like, oh my God, they're coming for me, whatever. And then Tilda's dad shows up, takes her home, and straight up sells her out to the mob. The mob kills her, and then the dad is like seen, he's like, he goes and he sells his own daughter out. So like, did he know that his daughter was gonna die? Like, did he just birth her to kill her eventually?
Oh, you mean like from the beginning? No, I think that I don't know how they pick them, but I thought that they were aware, like, that there's going to be sacrifices.
They are aware, but I don't know, like, when they make that decision.
Become the sacrifice, yeah. I mean, it would be awful to have a kid that you're just gonna have to kill when they're like 17 or whatever.
It wouldn't be awful, because I would never do that.
Yes.
I'm not.
You would never do that.
I'm not a wimp who would sacrifice my daughter. I would fight the Blind Dead until we were all dead. I'm not. See, I'm somebody who's like, okay, they come to the door or whatever, and it's like, okay, she's either gonna, the Blind Dead's either gonna kill your one daughter, or they're gonna kill both your daughters and you, and your wife, and all the other people in this town. I'd be like, then I guess we're all dying.
Right.
Because I'm not sacrificing her.
Yeah, so one is too much.
We're fighting back, right? I feel very much like a lot of the heroes in these stories that I watch. What's the one I'm thinking of? Something we were just watching recently, where the dude like refuses to let anyone die. Ethan Hunt.
Oh,
in the Mission Impossible movies, like it's always
Meg.
No, in the Mission Impossible movies, it always comes down to like, if you just sacrifice this person, we'll let you go, or we'll stop.
Yeah.
And Ethan he will do absolutely anything to keep the people that he loves. He refuses to ever trade a life.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's like, okay, we're going to kill one person or we're going to kill 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Your decision. He's like, I'm going to save 1,001 people.
100%.
Right? Like, to me,
always
there
like
is
that.
no other option.
Yeah.
I'm not selling my friend out. It's not happening. Or anybody. Right?
It's
it could just be
admirable.
some random person, and he's like, I don't refuse. I mean, even in the scene where he's in like the record shop and the girl's on the other side of the glass, you don't even know who this girl is. But he holds that very personal when he comes after that dude.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, he doesn't like senseless violence towards anybody.
Yeah.
So
I think the village in this, like, if you're already, like, if you know they're coming every 7 years and you're going to kill people, like, why not just fight back?
Move.
Or why not just move and just be like, we're going to, like, this is going to be a non-livable place.
Do you think that
the Evil Dead, the Blind Dead are coming?
Yeah, if like, this of course is the biggest question. Why don't you move?
Yeah.
Why are you all still there?
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's say this part of town did the purge, but the other parts of town didn't.
You just leave.
You
if
just
you didn't
are
want
like,
to be in
okay,
the purge, you'd be like,
unless you're like, I
bye.
want to be in the purge.
Yeah. Who wants to be in? Well, there are people that want to be in the purge.
There are people who want to be in the purge, and
but
let them all stay in their own little area. But
let
it's
them
like,
purge themselves.
if you want to be a sacrifice to the Blind Dead, you stay.
Yeah.
If not, you have 7 years to move.
Yeah.
We moved in a weekend. Like, you can move.
You can do it.
You can leave. There's plenty of other residents for you. And they're like,
Absolutely.
no, this is my home. No, it isn't. When the Blind Dead come for you, it is no longer your home.
No longer.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, no. Absolutely not. You could stay for 6 years. You could stay for 6 years
and then on the
like
7th year,
11 months.
Yeah.
And then you're just
11th
like,
month.
okay, it's getting close. Peace out, everybody. And then come back in a few months. Take a vacation. Right when the Blind Dead are about to come out.
The Bahamas.
Yeah, just go away for a week. Everybody can take a week off.
Dude, especially if it was like the whole time, they're like, all right, like this is our planned 1 week every 7-year vacation.
What would have been cool, okay, so if I was writing this, and I always do this, but I have to. So if I was writing this top of my head, I did not write this down, I'm just thinking of this off the cuff, so it might have some flaws in it. But the way I would write it is this. I would make it to where the whole town becomes cursed. And that the townspeople, their lineage, are not allowed to leave. And if anyone tries to leave, they end up dead, right? They drop dead when they cross a certain boundary.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I take one more step, I'll be the furthest from my home I've ever been. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just make it that. Make it like the county line.
Sure.
If anyone tries to leave, and the reason people are coming in is because they're like bringing in the goods or whatever. And so that what I would have done, instead of like a new doctor in town, is I would have had like, a shipment coming into town that day. But then a really bad storm hits. And then the person's like, well, I gotta, I gotta stay. And they're like, you can't stay. You've got to leave. But they don't want to tell them. And that could be another stipulation of the curse, is like, you're not allowed to tell them about the curse. If you tell them about the curse or you try to leave, you die. Right? And so that would be like the rules of it. And then that person's there and they're like, you cannot be here. You have to leave. Right? And like, they just keep sticking around because like, who knows? He eyes a girl that he's into.
Sure, yeah.
And so he's like sticking around and he's like, whoa, hey, hold on. Maybe I can help. And then, of course, she becomes the one that they go to sacrifice, and he's like fighting against the Blind Dead. And they're like, you've got to let it happen.
You just need to be like writing movies.
I watch movies like this, and I'm always just like, we could tweak some stuff here, and we could make this much better because move.
Because move.
Yeah, because move. Like
100%.
When I'm watching this movie, the whole time in my brain, I'm just like, why do you live here?
Yeah, nobody would live there.
Why do you? I don't care what the even
like
if
how many generations your families
are like $10 a month.
Dude, no. Not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it if you have the Blind Dead coming for you.
It's not worth it when you have to sacrifice your kid.
It's not worth it
or
when
someone
that
else's
happens.
Kid or anybody. Kid. I'm not sacrificing any human being.
Yeah.
Period.
No. Period.
I don't care if it's like some granny who's like on her deathbed, dude. Those last minutes of hers are hers. She doesn't get those cut short just because I want better rent.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I'm moving. That's it. We got the slow-mo's fast horses. of course.
Always.
All the blind dead, even when they're fast, they have to be slow.
They're very, very slow.
Quick to the slow. And yeah, I mean this town very much reminds me of American Werewolf in London. You know, when the backpackers come in to the slaughtered lamb, and everyone's just like looking at them like you can't be here, and then they like send them out in the night. It had that feel to it, or even like, you know, Santa Mira in Halloween 3. Just that like town that's very unwelcoming to outsiders and is like harboring a secret.
Yeah.
And is like,
we all know that town.
You can't be here. I like when the clock strikes midnight, right? Because Henry and Joan are new to town because they're the new town doctors. They meet the old town doctor, and the old town doctor's like, I'm getting out of here. And he's like, you us too as well. He should have probably just told them
like, hey,
the truth.
The blind dead are coming.
Yeah, so he does leave, and then they stick around because they're idiots. And then Joan befriends this woman named what's her name? I wrote it. Lucy. And Lucy, like, for some reason, just starts to come work for them.
Yeah,
she does.
I missed that.
She starts to come work for them.
Yeah, she's like, just there in an apron, like they're maid all of a sudden. I was like, what? Wait a minute.
How do they even have money for that yet?
I don't know.
I mean, no one even comes to their practice.
No, like they didn't even, like, nobody wanted to talk to them when they came into town.
Because they don't want them there, because they don't want them to be cursed.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess. I mean, that would make sense.
Because, like, let's say they were bloodthirsty and being like, for me, as the town, I would be, so, spoilers for Midsommar if you haven't seen it. So the whole idea behind Midsommar is they bring outsiders in to sacrifice them because they don't want to kill themselves. Yeah. Right? So with this, it's like, you would think they would be like, oh, let's throw a town party. Right. Right? Kind of like they do in Return of the Evil Dead, the second one in this series, where, you know, there's a whole soiree going on with people, and it's like you could put on a festival. See, that's an even better idea. Like, is the town is like we don't want to sacrifice our own. So they have like, so every year they draw on the tourism with some big bash. Yeah. And, you know, then they like stage the deaths after to look like accidents that like young partiers went out to the cliffs and were drunk and fell off or whatever. Yeah. Right? That would be way cooler. And then you have, like, you know, some teens like realize what's going on, right, and expose them. See, that's a much better movie. Yes. Or much better already. Yeah. So I don't know. There's an eeriness to this. Like, it's got atmosphere in it. That's I think if I can say anything positive about the series as a whole, the one thing this franchise has is atmosphere. I agree. I do think that there's a lot of shots with the blind dead, even if they're recycled, that are quite eerie. I think that the blind dead themselves look quite eerie. Yeah. And yeah, I liked the location of this film. So checking that your light on your mic is on. I lost the mic during our Stephen King Saturday. So now yesterday. We're like so now paranoid I'm like, about it. It's gone, right? It's on. I can't even see it. All you have to do is this. Oh, I can see it in the camera. I can see the like reflection. Oh, can you? Wait. All I do is this, and I can see the light on my hand. That's your light, not mine. See, if you just do this, and you can see the light on your hand. Yeah, I can see it right here. I can't. Right there? No. You got to put it against your chest. You don't see it on your thumb right there? No, I can't see my thumb. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Put it lower. Right there on your hand. You can't see that? Wait, hold it. Right here. Put it there. It's right here. Oh, yeah, I kind of can. I don't have great vision. Clearly. But I can do this so you can see it. I can see that, yeah. So that way you'll know I'll just do this. Yeah. You just have every once in a while I have to do it. Yeah. And okay, so when the bell strikes midnight, there's this. Bell tolls when the bell tolls. The first ghost. Sorry. Okay. Or not Nightmare
Muppets
Before Christmas Carol. Yes, I know. We both are massive fans of that
Yeah.
movie. So one thing I really like is that when the bells are going off at midnight, they're just coming from out at sea. I think that's
Yes,
really cool.
it is
That
cool.
it's just this like random like bell toll that's just coming from the ether.
Yeah.
That it's just kind of like that. I don't know.
It's creepy.
Even though this has atmosphere, I feel like it could have such better atmosphere and like have really like almost Baba-esque filming, like when he like you've seen Black Sabbath. Some of the shots in that, like the one that's like Back in Time with Boris Karloff, that kind of stuff, like where you're like getting these kind of these scenery shots with like the ocean like crashing on the shore with these like cliffs, and then you like are at night and there's like a fog kind of rolling in, and then you kind of like are hearing the bell from coming from the ocean, like that kind of stuff, like really stagnant shots of that kind of stuff could add such a flavor to this.
It really could,
right? And then to even have like, instead of, to change it up a bit, much like the fog, to have them like coming in from the ocean and then walking back into the ocean at night, coming out of the ocean and walking out of it and then back into it, would have been a really effective shot. Because just having them come in and out of the tombs with literally the same footage is very like lame and recycled. But to like throw in a story of like, you know, that they thought after the sacrifice they were invincible, and they, you know, very stupidly took like a ship out in a storm because they thought that they, you know, that they were invincible, that they were infallible. And while they were out there, their ship was like crushed by a giant wave, and now they haunt the waters, right? Because you could even have this be an island. And every time someone tries to get on the ocean to leave, who's from like there, they stop them.
That would be scary.
See, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, man, just remake it. Let's just remake it.
I could write these movies so much fucking better, dude. 100,000%.
I would actually be watching it if you wrote this.
I hope so. I hope any movie I wrote, even if it sucked,
I would watch it on repeat.
I would knock that phone out of your hand.
I would never.
How did you?
That hurts me that you would think I'd even do that.
I like that. So they have a frog god that they like.
Oh yeah, the statue was wonky.
And they cut the freaking heart out of the girl and then take the heart and place it in the frog statue's mouth.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the end of the movie, with all of these movies, it's always just some cursed object or something, and they just push the stone off and it breaks, and it's like they're dead.
This also ends abruptly too.
Yeah,
all these films are like,
their death in this is so cool because they just start gushing blood from their eyes.
That was really cool. I liked that.
Instead of them just like throwing them overboard.
Right.
And they're like little pretend caskets hitting the ground.
The death in here, and then the second one, I think, when they just kind of start like their bodies start falling
that
down.
was cool too.
I really liked that. So I think these are the two.
If you go to combine the two and have them like crumple, but then their eyes are like bleeding as they are crumpling.
Really cool. Yeah.
That would have been rad. Yeah, that's in part 2.
Yeah.
When they start crumpling like that. Yeah. Add the blood to the eyes and you'd have the perfect. I feel like you could take all 4 of these and pull enough elements from all 4 to make one much better movie.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And they and also we find out that when the girls are killed, they are turned into seagulls.
Yes.
And so all the seagulls on the shore are like the ghosts of the women they've sacrificed.
Pretty creepy.
So like anytime you hear gulls,
it's the
out
women
at the
like
ocean,
screaming.
they're like screaming at you, like, you know, in revenge or like in protest. Or I like that idea. I like that idea, but they don't play on that enough. There should have been a scene where the seagulls all attacked some of the townspeople, right, in revolt. Maybe once the frog statue was crushed, all the seagulls fly into town and start attacking the people.
Yeah.
As in revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Because like maybe like once the curse is lifted, they have more free will as seagulls.
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you just?
And maybe the seagulls, while they're still victims of the blind dead before the curse is broken, they like follow them around and kind of fly in and are like their eyes. Right?
Fix your hair. Is it sticking out?
It's fine. So
yes,
you could even have them be like, like Crow Eye from Dublin, right? Like in Lord of the Rings, that they spot when they're in the Fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have that, like with the seagulls, they could be like lookouts for the blind dead. They could be their eyes, right, where they can kind of see for them. The
blind dead are no longer blind when the seagulls are around,
because they can use the seagulls to like fly around and be like drones for them.
What?
And see,
just like
and
the
then
government.
You can like kill the seagulls and take their eyes out,
bro.
Right?
Yeah, let's just
shoot
it now.
Shoot it now. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing some ideas out there.
They're good ideas.
That would be
good ideas.
That would be better.
Yes.
I like that they steal their horses, and this happens in every one of these
literally
movies,
every single one,
except for the third, because they don't have
horses. They're
on a boat. But in this one, they steal their horses, and the horses are kind of like homing beacons, and the horses take them straight to their temple. So I don't know if that's because they're trained to return home, or if the horses themselves are cursed and are like, I'm going to take you to where you can end this. Right? Like, I don't want to be an undead horse anymore.
Oh, I bet they don't.
Yeah.
Why would they?
I basically only said that just to upset Kaylee.
I know.
They're like, you guys always ride me around.
No.
Hundreds of years killing all these people. Every 7 years, I got to get back up.
Oh my God.
I just want to sleep.
Hundreds of years riding around. Oh.
All I have to do is that voice, and Kaylee's done for.
It's just so pathetic. It makes me so sad. I hate it. I don't like it. Blinded suck because they have horses.
Yeah.
Like, they can be immortal and whatever, but why do they have to bring the animals into it?
Always got to use me because I still got my eyes.
Just mad because you don't got your eyes.
So, that's that.
Yeah.
Night of the Seagulls.
Yeah.
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 So, one thing when they cut them open, and after, like, they always have, like, their exposed breasts, and then when they go to cut into them, and it's like the fake body, the tits and the skin and everything are like
rubber.
Not even close.
No.
The nipples are like the same color as the skin.
Yeah.
It's like, who made this cast?
I know.
I mean, I know this is low budget, but dude, you could get something a little closer, no?
Yeah, you could.
Especially with this girl. Her body looks fake and plastic anyways.
Oh, sure.
So, there you go. All right. And that's that, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't mention Teddy, the village idiot, who Kaylee was very,
I wasn't trustful.
She was reserved about her
because of what happened in 2.
Yeah.
I was like,
she didn't want to get duped again.
He's gonna be a rapey guy again.
He wasn't, but he did get dropped on his head.
Yeah.
And was definitely dead, but then definitely wasn't dead in the movie. And I was like, Teddy,
you'd be dead.
No. Teddy would have became Timmy after how hard he hit his head. He should have came back and been like, Teddy!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teddy!
But he wasn't.
Nope.
But I had to bring up Teddy. I forgot about him. So there you go. Yeah. Night of the Seagulls. All these are really poorly written and should have been written by me.
100%. I agree.
All right, guys. That's that.
Hopefully
until
we're not
next
watching
week.
the 5th one, but we might.
I'm
hoping we don't.
She's rooting against
it.
But we'll see till next week.
Bye.